What's the most radical book of all time? It's a good question. This one must surely be a candidate. It was banned for 40 years. It was partly because it was published in 1794. It's also partly because of what it is. Written in response to Tom Paine's visionary but incredibly misogynistic vindication of the rights of men. This is Mary Wollstonecraft, the mother of Mary Shelley's Vindication of the Rights of Women. I'm doing the first two books, and the Sir in this is a French terrorist called Talleyrand, which is partly why it gets banned, but it's also, well, you'll hear why as we go through. Sir, I would ask you first not to treat me by accident of my birth, a woman. No. Remember, I am also a reasoning mind. Treat me like that, sir. In these times of ours, we have learned to question much, for we look at rulers who we were told were most excellent, and we see their power is not given to them by some divine favour, but is the kind of power that money and influence and greed do buy. More than that, we see that their much vaunted wisdom is usually low cunning, and that they are men who have mistaken the powers of education for the merits of breeding. So they laud their ignorance, so that our rulers are little more than bores and rakes, and is it any wonder the country goes to ruin? But in these times of ours, there has risen a class of men who, good customs of practice, have led to excellence of mind and body. And it is these men who have learned to look at the world as it is, and not merely as they are told that it is. And most excellent amongst these men are people who write about education. For in education, they say, and surely it is true, we all learn to think, and once we think, we can be truly free. So they say, all mankind must aspire to be educated. And yet, in the same breath, nay, in the same paragraph I read, what they would give to all men, they would not allow to any woman. Not any woman. Nay, they would keep them all in ignorance, or if they do educate them, it is only to repress their true natures. And in this, they seem to argue that women are by nature aristocrats, little queens, jointed dolls, who love only finery, who look only for a prince, who are fit only to raise children. Or even worse, they seem to be arguing that women are mere like foot soldiers, taken from their families before they have learned morality and know but only manners, and are so put in the world, so that they are besotted by bright jackets and pretty buttons, and like warriors are muddled in their heads, like warriors mistaking fierceness for bravery, and boorishness for gallantry. And are not these women, then, the reserve army of breeders? And what should we say about such folk? That these, my sisters, have been kept ignorant. But where's the justice in it? And where's the sense? For these same women will have to rise your sons, sir. And more than that, where a soldier might escape the martinet, these sisters of mine have no reprise from their husbands. Oh, it would take a man as wise as you not to turn into a domestic tyrant, as surely law decrees it. And why this is so, I know full well. It goes back to that old story, that myth of Moses, that woman was created from the rib of man, and is somehow less. And maybe that is so. I do not seek to argue either way, but I ask you this. Are we to conclude then that there are two sorts of morality? One that should apply to children, aristocrats, soldiers and women? Or is there only one sort, sir? Nay, surely you would deny that women, that aristocrats and soldiers should be judged differently. Why so then do you say women should be judged so differently? More than that, given that morality is given us by our education, who do you educate? Those who you think of as naturally moral, the men, or do you educate more carefully the women? Those who you think might strive to learn? I know, gallant sir, that you will smile at this point and say, nay, Nay, you cannot think to educate women, for their sensibilities will not allow them to be wrong, and you would fear to humiliate them. And I say, sir, thank you for your gallantry, but no, let I and my sisters be educated as you are, sir. Let us strive. Let us fail as if we must. For the bitterness of that humiliation, sir, is far less than the cup your indulgence offers us. That is the cup of certain slavery, sir. Thank you. Merry Christmas.